I never thought I'd be the villain in my own family's fairy tale, but there I was, finger hovering over post, ready to torch it all down with a single click. My mother's Instagram live had just wrapped, 2 million views, heart emojis flooding the screen as she sobbed about gifting her precious daughter Mila a $400,000 luxury apartment in Chelsea, a fresh start after my hard years. The comments poured in. What a queen. Family goals. But she hadn't mentioned the part where she'd disowned me 5 years ago, or how I'd rotted in a county jail for 6 months taking the fall for my brother Jake's Ponzi scheme that nearly bankrupted the family business. Or the secret she'd buried deeper than his crimes. The abortion she'd forced on me at 17 to keep up appearances, whispering it was for the best, while Dad nodded from his leather armchair like it was just another boardroom deal. That night, as the city hummed outside my shitty Queen studio, I uploaded the truth, scanned disownment papers, jail records, even the faded ultrasound photo I'd kept hidden like a scar. The backlash hit like a freight train, and for the first time in years, I felt the weight lift, even if it crushed everyone else. It started innocently enough, or at least that's what I told myself in the rearview mirror of those early therapy sessions I couldn't afford anymore. Growing up in the shadow of the Kensington Empire, Dad's real estate firm that turned dusty warehouses into overpriced lofts for influencers and tech bros, Mila Kensington was supposed to be the golden child. Blonde highlights at 12, private tutors for SATs that didn't matter because Yale was a family handshake away. But Jake, my older brother by 3 years, he was the real heir, the one with the easy grin and the Rolodex of connections that made Dad beam like he'd invented nepotism himself. Mom? She was the architect of it all, the social media maven who turned our lives into a curated feed of brunches at St. Ambrius and yacht weekends in the Hamptons. Image is everything, darling, she'd say, adjusting my collar before a photo op. Without it, you're just another face in the crowd. The first crack came senior year of high school. I was 17, head over heels for this artist kid from Brooklyn, Tommy, who smelled like turpentine and dreams too big for his thrift store jeans. We were reckless, late nights in his loft, whispers about running away to Paris. Then the plus sign on the stick. Panic hit like a gut punch. I told Mom first, expecting tears or a lecture on responsibility. Instead, she went still, her Botox-smooth forehead not even twitching. This isn't happening, Mila. Not to us. She drove me to a clinic upstate that same afternoon, Dad wiring the cash without a word. Family first, he muttered over the phone, like it was a slogan for his latest condo flip. I woke up hollow, the ultrasound crumpled in my fist like trash, but Mom snatched it away. Burn it. No reminders. Jake knew, of course. He overheard the hushed fights, but he just clapped me on the back later, smirking. Welcome to the club, sis. Secrets keep us rich. By college, I'd buried it deep, majoring in marketing at NYU because it was practical, interning at Dad's firm where I crunched numbers for deals that lined their pockets, while mine stayed threadbare. Jake was already VP by then, fresh out of Wharton, charming clients over steak at Del Frisco's. That's when the real rot set in. He started small, fudging invoices on a Tribeca development, skimming just enough to fund his coke habit and that red Ferrari he deserved. I caught him once, ledger open on his desk, numbers that didn't add up. It's nothing, Mila. Just bending the rules. Dad does it all the time. I covered for him, doctoring a report to make it look like a vendor error. Loyalty, right? Blood's thicker than ink. But Jake's spends turned into breaks. By my junior year, he was running a full-on side hustle, promising investors ghost returns on exclusive pre-sales for non-existent units, pocketing the deposits. Millions, funneled through offshore shells he set up with a wink from Dad's lawyer. When the feds knocked, tips from a pissed-off contractor. The trail led straight to the firm. Jake panicked, called me at 2 a.m., voice slurred. Mila, you're good with numbers. Say it was you. An internship fuck-up. They'll go easy on a kid. I laughed at first, thinking it was a joke. But Mom was there in the morning, eyes red from crying into her chamomile tea. Your brother's the future, darling. Without him, we're nothing. You'll bounce back. Colleges love redemption arcs. Dad just stared out the window at the Hudson, silent as a gravestone. So I did it. Signed the plea deal for wire fraud, 6 months in Rikers Women's Wing, time enough to lose my internship, my boyfriend, my shot at grad school. Jake visited once, in a suit that screamed innocence, slipping me a burner phone with a promise. We'll make it right. Apartment in Chelsea, when you get out. $400,000 cash. Your fresh start. Mom sent care packages, designer scrubs, and essential oils, like it was a spa retreat. Stay strong for us. Her notes read, posted publicly on Insta with family tough love, racking up likes from strangers who thought she was Mother Teresa in Louboutins. Out in 2019, the world had moved on. COVID lockdowns hit, and so did the silence. No apartment. No calls. Just a Venmo for $500 rent help, and a group chat invite to Jake's engagement party, some influencer named Brit with 200K followers. I crashed on couches in Bushwick, freelancing copy for e-commerce sites that paid in exposure. Therapy was a luxury. Instead, I scrolled their feeds, watching the empire rebuild. Kensington developments boomed with pandemic-proof flips, Jake front and center in hard hats and hard sells. Mom's account? A shrine to perfection. Blessed moments, proud parent, filters that erase the cracks. Then last month, the live. I was microwaving ramen in my walk-up when the notification pinged at Eleanor Kensington Live. A gift from a heart. There she was, in pearls and a cashmere sweater, dabbing tears with a silk hanky. My Mila, my fighter. She's been through hell, but family's forever. Today, we're giving her the keys to her dream. A $400,000 apartment in Chelsea, fully furnished. Because that's what we do, we lift each other up. The chat exploded. Prayers, cheers, even a celeb retweet from some real housewife. Jake chimed in the comments. Sis, you deserve this. Love you. Brit posted a story of them toasting with view, caption, Kensington strong. I sat there, frozen, the spoon clattering to the floor. 5 years. No word, no wire transfer, just radio silence after I asked about the promise in an email that bounced back, undeliverable. I'd hacked Jake's old password years ago, same as his high school locker combo, for a laugh, peeking at emails that confirmed the lie. Mom's directive to cut ties. She's a liability. The disownment? Notarized the day I was released, citing irreconcilable differences to keep it clean for the lawyers. Rage boiled slow at first, then volcanic. I could have sued, breach of promise, emotional distress, but that'd be years in court, their money against my food stamps. No. This was their game. Social media, the court of public opinion where likes were law. I'd play by those rules. Over the next week, I gathered the arsenal. PDFs of the plea agreement with my name blacked out where Jake should be, emails from the care phase where he dangled the apartment like bait, even a voicemail from Mom post-release. Don't come home, Mila. It's better this way. The ultrasound? I digitized it, anonymized Tommy's name, but the date's stamped like a brand. Posting it felt like jumping off a cliff. I created a burner at Truth from the Shadows, screenshotted everything, captioned, the Kensington's $400,000 gift? A lie to sell the dream. I did their time. They did me dirty. Family lies, Mila speaks. Hit publish at 3 a.m., then crawled into bed, heart hammering like it would burst. By dawn, it had 500 shares. By lunch, 50K. TMZ picked it up. Heiress exposes dynasty fraud, and the tags trended. Kensington scam. The fallout was symphony and slaughter. Mom's followers plummeted, from 1.2 M to 800K overnight, comments turning venomous. Fake tears for clout? What about the daughter you threw away? Jake's firm deals froze. Investors pulled out, citing reputational risk. Brit dumped him publicly, her story a tear-streaked selfie. Blindsided. Ending the engagement. Dad? He lawyered up, issuing a statement about regrettable family matters that only fueled the fire. But here's where it gets gray, the part that keeps me up. They fought back. Mom went live again, voice cracking genuine this time. We love Mila. The apartment was planned, funds tied up in escrow during the pandemic. She misunderstood. Screenshots surfaced from their side. A real estate listing dated 2020, my name on the contract, but contingent on reconciliation therapy. Jake posted a thread, rare vulnerability from the golden boy, admitting he leaned too hard on me but framing it as youthful mistakes we all make. Mila's my hero. I owe her everything. Their fans split. Half cried foul on me for airing dirty laundry, calling it betrayal of blood. Family stays private. One viral reply read, 10K likes. The other half. They crown me whistleblower queen, petition circling for a Netflix doc. I didn't expect the calls. Tommy, out of nowhere, now a tattoo artist in Portland, texted. Saw the news. That photo. Our kid? I'm sorry I bailed. We talked for hours, ghosts rising like smoke. Then the lawyers. Kensington attorneys offering a settlement, the apartment, plus $200,000 hush money. Put this behind us, Mila. Foreclosure. Closure? After they made me the fall guy for Jake's greed, after Mom's clinic drive-by erased my choice? The climax hit at Jake's apology dinner, brokered by a mediator in some midtown steakhouse that reeked of old money and regret. I walked in heels clicking like gunshots, the contract in my bag like a loaded clip. They were there, Mom in Chanel, Dad nursing scotch, Jake with hollow eyes that matched mine. Mila, Mom started, reaching for my hand. I pulled back. The post stays up. But sign this, transfer the deed, no strings. And admit it publicly. I took the fall for you, Jake. All of it. He shifted, glancing at Dad, who nodded once. It was a mistake. I was scared. You were stronger. Lies wrapped in half-truths, but the pen scratched paper anyway. Mom whispered, we can fix this. Be a family again. I laughed, bitter as black coffee. Family? You mean props for your feed? As I left, keys jangling in my pocket. Finally mine. The doorman nodded like he knew. But outside, protesters milled. Kensington holdouts with signs forgive and forget, and my supporters chanting truth wins. Polarized just like the comments. Was I the avenger or the destroyer? They'd spun it both ways. That night, back in Queens, the apartment felt less like a cage and more like a command center. My phone buzzed nonstop. Reporters from Page 6 angling for exclusives, distant cousins I'd forgotten demanding solidarity, even a producer from a true crime pod floating a book deal. I ignored most, pouring a glass of cheap Merlot and scrolling the wreckage. Mom's account was in lockdown, bio changed to taking time for family healing. Jake's LinkedIn? Scrubbed of the firm, now consulting independently. The internet, that great American equalizer, had turned their polished facade into a funhouse mirror. Cracks everywhere, reflections distorted. But victory tasted like ash. I'd won the keys, sure. But what about the years? The cell block bunks that smelled of bleach and despair, where I learned to sleep with one eye open, trading stories with women who'd clawed their way through worse. Or the nights post-release, applying to jobs with a fraud rap shadowing my resume like a felony tattoo. Entry-level admin. I'd pitch, voice steady, while they Googled me mid-interview and suddenly needed more experience. No, the apartment was a consolation prize, a gilded cage upgrade. The real revenge? Watching them squirm in the spotlight they'd built. Digging deeper became my obsession. With the burner still active, I doxed their digital footprints, not malicious, just methodical, like piecing together a puzzle from shards. Jake's old emails revealed more than the scheme. Payoffs to the contractor who'd snitched, funneled through Mom's charity foundation. Dad knew, memos with his sign-off, casual as crossing T's. And the abortion? A locked folder in Mom's iCloud, password, Kensington 1 because irony, held clinic receipts, but also therapy notes from her own sessions. Fear of losing control. Mila's choice threatens the narrative. She'd grieved it privately, journaling about the grandchild we could have had, while publicly posting baby bumps from influencers with mom life envy. It humanized her, in a twisted way, the schemer with cracks. But sympathy curdled quick when I found the kicker. Post-disownment, they'd used my story for PR gold. A Kensington blog post, ghostwritten by some agency hack. From setback to success, how one family overcame adversity. Me as the faceless daughter who strayed, redeemed by their unwavering support. It went viral in real estate circles, landing them a Forbes feature. The Kensingtons, building empires and families alike. Enough. I escalated. Next post on @Truth from the Shadows, a thread dismantling the blog, side by side with my jail mugshot, blurred for mercy, and their glossy headshots. They built an empire on my back. Here's the blueprint. Attached, redacted ledgers, timelines mapping Jake's fraud to my plea. No names dropped fully, plausible deniability, but the implication hung heavy. Shares hit 100K by evening, CNN picking it up for a segment. Social media showdown. Heiress versus dynasty. Their counterpunch came swift. Dad's PR machine spun a narrative. Mila's pain is real, but her actions endanger us all. A leaked family letter circulated, teary prose about protecting Jake's recovery from addiction, framing the scheme as a cry for help I'd exploited. Mom resurfaced on TikTok, duets with therapists preaching forgiveness heals, her follower count rebounding with the boomer crowd who lapped up toxic family recovery. Jake? He pivoted to victimhood, starting a Substack. Lessons from the Fall, a brother's redemption. First post, Mila, if you're reading, come home. Let's talk, not tweet. The polarization deepened. Online forums split like fault lines. Reddit's r/true crime crown me, badass whistleblower. Threads dissecting the fraud with forensic glee. But r/am I the asshole? A post from a concerned relative, obviously planted, garnered 5K upvotes. AITA for cutting off my sister after she exposed our family's secrets online? Comments flooded. White yay, but she's the real villain. Dragging kids into adult drama. Kids? Brit was pregnant, it turned out. Announced quietly amid the chaos. A ultrasound pic that mirrored mine in cruel echo. Our rainbow baby. Her caption read, twisting the knife. Guilt nod. Was I no better, weaponizing pain for clout? Tommy called again, voice rough from Pacific time. You're stirring shit, Mila. But damn, it's cathartic. Remember that loft? We could have been something. We reminisced, his sketches of our future kid, wild-haired and free. It stung, the what-ifs piling like unpaid bills. You think they'd own it? He asked. All of it. I didn't answer. Instead, I drove to Chelsea the next day, keys burning in my pocket. The building was a glass monolith, doorman in crisp navy eyeing me like fresh meat. Unit 12B, sleek lines, marble counters, a view of the Empire State that screamed success I hadn't earned yet. Moving in felt like squatting in a museum. Boxes from the old studio, faded posters, dog-eared Vonnegut, clashed with the minimalist vibe. First night, I poured wine on the balcony, city lights winking like conspirators. A text from an unknown. Mila, it's Jake. Meet me tomorrow? Coffee. No cameras. Against every instinct, I said yes. Neutral ground, a hole in the wall in NoHo, where baristas didn't care about scandals. He looked wrecked, stubble shadowing that jawline charm, eyes bloodshot sans the frat boy sparkle. Congrats on the place, he started, stirring black coffee like it owed him answers. It's yours. Fair and square. I waited, arms crossed. Why now? After ghosting me for years? He leaned in, voice low. Mom pushed the disownment. Said you were unstable, a risk after everything. The abortion hung unspoken, a third wheel at the table. But I fought it. The apartment was my idea. Escrow set before the plea. Pandemic froze it. Then you went dark. We thought you'd moved on. Lies layered thin. I slid over a printout. His email to Mom. Cut the cord. She's toxic. He blanched. Heat of the moment. Addiction talking. Ah, yes, the coke, the schemes. You chose your poison over me, I said. I chose family. He reached across, hand trembling. Your family, Mila. Let me make it right. Therapy, all of us. And the baby, Brit's due in July. Be an aunt. The ask landed soft, a velvet trap. Part of me softened, the kid in me craving the Kensington hearth, fireside lies and all. But the woman I'd forged in fire? She saw the flip. Jake, ever the chameleon, from fraudster to family man overnight. Public admission, I countered. Video. You, Mom, Dad, own the cover-up. My time in jail, the silence. Then maybe. He nodded, too quick. Deal. But as we hugged goodbye, awkward, bone deep, I felt the shift. His phone buzzed. He glanced, pocketed it. Paranoia? Or pattern? Back home, the thread I'd teased, coming soon, the full confession, garnered 200K views. Supporters cheered. Detractors doxed my new address, eggs splattering the lobby by midnight. Security called. Miss Kensington? We've got a situation. I laughed into the receiver. Situation? That was my middle name. The weeks blurred into a digital war zone, each ping a skirmish in the battle for narrative supremacy. At Truth from the Shadows hit 50K followers, a ragtag army of underdogs cheering my every upload, infographics mapping the fraud timeline, polls asking, who owes Mila more, Jake or Mom? Jake won, 68%. Monetization kicked in, sponsored posts from therapy apps ironically preaching boundaries, enough to hire a lawyer, a sharp Brooklynite named Lena who smelled like ambition and oat milk lattes. We're not just exposing, she said over Zoom, glasses perched like a hawk. We're litigating the court of public opinion. A slap suit incoming if they try to shut you down. They did try. Dad's firm filed for defamation. False light on the blog takedown claiming my posts irreparably harmed their brand. The filing leaked, of course, turning Kensington lawsuit into a meme fest. Photoshopped Davids versus Goliaths, me as the slingshot-wielding underdog. Mom countered with healing vlogs, soft focus clips of her walking Central Park, voiceover about learning to listen. Mila's hurt runs deep, she'd say, eyes glistening. We're here when she's ready. It worked. Her numbers stabilized. A wave of mom forgiveness challenges trending among stay-at-home influencers. Jake's confession video dropped unannounced, a solo effort filmed in what looked like his Williamsburg penthouse, exposed brick, Edison bulbs screaming hipster redemption. Hey everyone, he started, shirt unbuttoned just so, vulnerability dialed to 11. I've made mistakes. Big ones. My sister Mila. She protected me when I didn't deserve it. Took heat for my screw-ups. I let her down, froze when she needed me most. The apartment? It was real, but I dropped the ball. I'm sorry, sis. Publicly, privately, whatever it takes. No mention of jail, the disownment, or mom's puppeteering. Just enough truth to inoculate, laced with charm that had comments swooning. Growth king. Family wins again. I fired back the same day, a response vid from my balcony, wind tousling my hair like a bad rom-com. No makeup, just me in a hoodie, voice raw. Half-truths don't erase the bars I slept behind, Jake. Or the silence after. But hey, progress? I attached the plea docs, redacted, but damning, and a new bombshell. Mom's therapy notes, anonymized but time-stamped to the abortion era. Secrets don't heal. They fester. Views exploded to 1M, but so did the hate. Trolls calling me bitter harpy, accusing me of milking trauma for merch, guilty on the tease at least. The polarization peaked at a family summit pitched by a mediator, neutral ground in a Soho loft, all parties zooming in to avoid paparazzi. Lena prepped me like a prizefighter. Stick to facts. No tears, they'll weaponize empathy. I logged on at 7 p.m., screen split. Me solo, them clustered like a malfunctioning Brady Bunch. Mom first, poise cracking at the edges. Mila, this has to stop. The baby's coming. Stress isn't good. Brit hovered off cam, hand on bump, a silent guilt trip. Dad cleared his throat, tie loosened. We're offering more. The apartment cleared title. $500,000 settlement. And equity in the firm. 5% stake. It was a king's ransom, enough to buy silence and a penthouse of my own. Jake jumped in. And therapy.
Group.
Us four, five with Brit. His eyes pleaded, the addict's hook, redemption through proximity. I leaned back, city hum faint behind me. Admit it all. Press conference. Fraud cover-up, my jail time as proxy, the procedure. The word hung, abortion unspoken but electric. Mom flinched. That's private, darling. Ancient history. Ancient? It was the bedrock of my rage, the erasure that paved the way for every lie after. Private. I echoed. You posted my tough love jail care packages for likes. This is public now. The chat erupted, Jake typing furiously. You're crossing lines, Mila. Dad muted, conferring. Lena whispered in my earpiece. Push. Finally, they caved, sort of written statement, Dad proposed. Details vetted.
No.
I logged off, heart pounding. Balls in your court. Again. Revenge's high was fleeting, chased by crashes. Tommy flew in that weekend, bearded now, tattoos mapping his arms like lifelines. We walked the high line, autumn leaves crunching underfoot, pretending we were strangers on a date. You look fierce, he said, bumping my shoulder. Like you finally fit your skin. Over falafel in the village, he confessed. I Googled you after Rikers. Wanted to reach out, but coward shit. Forgiveness tasted like tahini, warm and messy. That night, in the Chelsea King bed that swallowed me whole, we tangled, slow, exploratory, no promises, but plenty of release. Morning brought coffee and clarity. This doesn't fix us, I said. He nodded. But it's a start. The press conference was their Hail Mary, scheduled at the Standard, rooftop views for ironic flair. I wasn't invited, but Lena live-streamed from a van outside. Cameras flashed as they ascended the podium. Dad stone-faced, Mom in somber gray, Jake with Brit's hand in his, bump proudly forward. Today, Dad intoned, the Kensington family addresses recent allegations. The statement rolled out. We regret past decisions that burdened Mila unduly. Her contributions to the firm were invaluable. Any discrepancies were oversights, not malice.
No ya mention.
Regarding personal matters, Mom added, voice quaver. We've all endured losses. Healing starts with grace. Grace? The feed chat lit up, my followers raging. Gaslighting 101. But there's a swell of support. Classy move. Time to move on. Then Jake's closer. Mila, the door's open. Come home. He held up keys, dupe set to my apartment, symbolic olive branch. It went viral, Kensington reunion trending, petitions begging me to forgive for the baby. Doubt crept. Was I the monster, isolating them further? Late-night scrolls showed Mom's private Insta, hacked via Jake's slip, photos of nursery mocks, ultrasounds captioned, our miracle amid the storm. Human frail. But then a DM from an ex-employee. They settled with the snitch contractor. $2M, off books. Your post scared him straight. Power surged back. One more push. My response, alive from the balcony, wind whipping. Grace? Try justice. Kensington full truth drops tomorrow. Tease. Blurred email of Dad's fraud sign-off. The stock in their REIT tanked 15% pre-market. Panic calls flooded Jake's. Mila stop. Brits in preterm labor. Heart stop. Was it me? The hospital call came at 4 a.m. Mount Sinai, NICU wing. Jake's voice a wreck over speaker. It's a boy, Mila. Early, but stable. She named him Theo, after Dad's middle. Silence stretched, for beeps faint in the background. He needs an aunt. Please. I hung up, staring at the skyline's pre-dawn glow, Chelsea's lights mocking my solitude.
Tay.
A name like a tether, pulling at the frayed threads of blood. Tommy stirred beside me, hand on my hip. Go, he murmured. See the kid. Doesn't make you weak. By noon, I was there, scrubs and badge courtesy of Lena's connections, navigating halls that smelled of antiseptic and hope. Brit in the bed, pale but beaming, tiny Theo bundled like a burrito in her arms. Jake paced, coffee-stained shirt clinging. You came. Not accusation, just fact. I nodded, peering at the bundle. Wrinkled face, fists balled like he already knew the world's fight. He looks like you, I said to Britt. She smiled faint. Strong lungs. Screamed like he had something to say. We talked surface, names, weights, the miracle of it all. No cameras, a truce in the tubes and monitors. Then Jake pulled me aside, hallway dim. The statement was Mom's edit. Dad wanted full.
Ishise Kenneth?
His eyes red-rimmed. But the email you're teasing? It'll bury us. Investors gone. Firm in ruins. For what? We can settle everything, apartment, stake, even help with your life. He glanced at Tommy, waiting outside. Start over. For real. The offer dangled, a poisoned apple. Forgiveness as transaction, same as always. But Theo's cry pierced the wall, raw and demanding. What was revenge but another cage? Pull the full truth, I whispered.
No edits.
Or the drop happens. He deflated. Deal. The confession aired 2 days later, full presser, unfiltered. Dad at the mic, voice gravel. Mila served time for my son's crimes. We let her. To protect the legacy. Mom beside, tears real. I failed as a mother. The choices I made. Unforgivable. Jake last. I was the villain. Still am some days. Mila, forgive me? Not for us, for you. It broke the internet. Apologies trending, stocks rebounding on transparency premium. My feed flooded with DMs. You won without destroying. Proud of you, sis, from strangers claiming kinship.
But the twist?
In the fine print of their mea culpa, buried in a footnote email Lena unearthed, Dad had looped in Fed's pre-conference. Immunity deal. Full disclosure for leniency on the lingering fraud probes. They'd flipped, not just for me, but to save their skins. Schemers to the end, turning betrayal into a boardroom win. I laughed, bitter, posting the email snippet. Redemption or reckoning. You decide. Kensington Endgame. The debate ignited. Panels on MSNBC. Heroic closure or cynical pivot? TikToks dissected. Mila's the real boss. Force their hand. Hate mail surged. You ruined a newborn's life. Polarized perfection. Readers picking sides like jury boxes. Tommy and I, we decamped to his Portland studio, subletting Chelsea to a startup bro who paid premium for the infamy. Mornings now, sketches and strong coffee, no empires looming. Ending?
Nota idibao.
Mom texts weekly. Theo asks for Aunt Mila, lie but sweet. Jake sends firm reports, 5% dividends hitting my account like reluctant amends. Dad? Silence, but a trust fund whisper for grandkids someday. I visit Theo monthly, his gummy smiles eroding walls I built high. Happy? In fragments. Tragic? Only if you buy their spin. Revenge taught me, truth isn't a weapon, it's a mirror. Shatters illusions, cuts deep. But in the shards, you see yourself clear. And damn if that isn't the real stun.